All right, let's look at this schedule before we get out of here. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. New to the channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. Shout out to our sponsor over there at Sleeper. Check them out. Use our code UNFAIR. They're going to hook you up with a 100% match on your first $100 deposit. Just use our code UNFAIR. That's what we got, Coop. So 2020, for the next 4 years, as we all know, Ole Miss is one of our opponents. You know, we already figured that part out. They gave us Ole Miss with Missouri and Texas, and of course, a lot of people aren't really feeling it. Lane Kiffin had some things to say on it. He's like, "There's really nothing to it. Like, why? That's kind of surprising that it's Oklahoma. You know, we don't really have a rivalry. Blah blah blah." I'm paraphrasing what he said, and I mean, I totally understand why he said that. Mainly because it's like, yeah, why Ole Miss? I think they did it more so. It's just pick something different for us because geographically, A&M would have made sense because of the old Big 12. But your problem with that is A&M already has other teams that they need to have in theirs, right? They've got Louisiana, Texas, and Arkansas, which are teams they are rivals with. Arkansas has the team north of them, south of them, and then Texas, in which they've been a rival with Texas for years from the old
Southwest
SWAC,
Conference.
Yeah, Southwest Conference, the old SWAC era, but they ain't played but twice in the last 30 years. Now we're finally back to it, right? So because of that, we just kind of got left on the island of where we can get picked on this first iteration of this. So I understood the Ole Miss pick. But what really got me is who we actually playing, though, Coop, on the schedule. So 26, Kentucky, South Carolina, and A&M come to the crib. Yeah, you know. So we get South Carolina. We get them at another year. Ole Miss comes back, so they'll be in Oklahoma back-to-back seasons. That was odd to me, but whatevs. Then we travel to Florida, Georgia, and Mississippi State. So we get some pretty cool places to go. Like I wouldn't mind going to Stark Vegas and hearing the Cowbells just because it's different. But of course, going to Athens is going to be legit. Same thing with going out there to the Swamp. We get that action, but you also get you get Kentucky, which everybody wants. But the A&M one, woo. That's going to be a tough one, and what Lebby's doing in Mississippi State is going to be interesting. But the way they're doing it, though, instead of you doing it back-to-back years of flipping, the next year it's the other teams that you didn't play in a home and away setup in 27, which that's where Bama comes to town, Arkansas comes to town, and Tennessee comes back to town, which is from 2 years later, a flip. And then we go to Auburn, LSU, and Vanderbilt, which is a flip from this year. Then 28, you get 26 flip, and then in 29, you get 27 flipped. That, to me, is intriguing how they did all of that. And honestly, I actually like the schedule. What'd you think about it when you saw it?
You know, I'll go Lane Kiffin first. I agree with him in principle, like, yeah, why? Like, this has nothing to do with it. I think that there's a lot of, like, why would you give us Oklahoma?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing, Jay, is Ole Miss and Oklahoma, they're not battling out for very many recruits.
Nope.
We were going to get them 2 years in a row regardless, and then they forget about it, and then 2 years, then forget about it.
Yep.
But now you're playing Oklahoma every single year. So I think that, number one, he probably wanted a Kentucky. He probably wanted an easier game. Number two, if you play Oklahoma every year for 4 years, now all of a sudden these recruiting battles that he's trying to fight off other teams for, now you add another team in there that's going to be speaking to the same kids because you can say, hey, man, we play Ole Miss every year. We're going to play at your house twice. Play at our house twice. So why don't you come check out Oklahoma? Now, Lane has been doing better in the transfer portal than he has recruiting, and it's not because, it's not by design. That's where they've been able to go and be more successful. But at the same time, I just say this, I think that there was a lot of sour grapes there because he did not want to fight over recruits with Oklahoma also, on top of Alabama, Georgia, etc. Hey, man, this is just something new. I'm glad they only put it out to 2029 because, Jay, if you talk about play-ins in 2030, miss me with that because, I'm not going to believe you for one iota. And I know 2030 ain't that long away. That's 5 years. But if my math is right. But I'm just saying that college football is changing so quickly and so frequently. Like, this is good for the next couple of years. But now, as a fan, you got some visits lined up. I know that I'm trying to go to Ann Arbor this next year. I think we're all trying to do that. But, yeah, getting a chance to go, all right, well, let's go check out Vanderbilt, or let's go check out, I've never done the Kentucky game. And, you get a little bit later in the year, maybe you can go catch a basketball game too, because Rupp Arena is, that's one of the, best places to play in the country. Yeah, it's legendary. It's got so much history. So I think that these are really, really cool things. Obviously the Texas game is going to be there. The Missouri thing, just kind of, it is what it is at this point. Like, you're forcing the issue, but this is why we came to the SEC.
I do like the fact that we're guaranteed 4 home and 4 away no matter what. That's probably the one thing that I'm glad that they made sure, since it's 9 games, it perfectly lines up for us. It lines up perfectly for Georgia, Florida. They don't have – it's always going to be 4 home, 4 away, whereas right now, this year, we got the luck of the draw because we get 3 road games and we've got more home games. We get 4 home games, 4 home games, the neutral site game, and then only 3 road games this year. So, worked out, whereas last year it was the opposite. I am glad that they made sure that, you got a neutral site game, you're always going to be 4-4, and then everybody else can have their 5-4. It's cool or whatnot, but us, Georgia, Florida, and Texas benefit from the fact that it's always a guaranteed that. And some, it don't work that way. What is it? The ACC is doing theirs, and they're going to have a team every year that only plays 8 conference games while everybody else plays 9 because they got too many teams and they can't divvy up the schedule properly. Yeah, that's just so silly to me.
Like you said, it's a new thing. There's a lot to talk about there. Anything past this, last year again, with the 4-4, you got that set. Last year we were the home team against Texas, so we had one more road game. This year we're the visitor team, so we got one more home game. And it's just weird and awkward to divvy it up that way when we know that it's, right between both OU and Texas. So, but every 4 years you're going to at least play everybody once, right? So you're going to get everybody in there. You're going to go to Georgia at some point. But as I start looking at this, I look at 2026 as a potential Mike Hawkins year, right? 2027, you're looking at Bo Bentley. 28, 29, it's up in the air. It's hard to predict that out that far just because we've seen quarterback shuffling happen quite a bit. So, but you would take a look at those things, and man, this is like I said, this is why you went to the SEC. Is that you can get excited about a 2029, away game. Right now in the middle of September of 25, because I promise you this, we'd talk about it. We just wouldn't talk about it as much if it was like, oh, we go to Iowa State in 2029.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing. And I'm glad it's only 4 years, and I'm glad that at the 4th year they'll reevaluate it, which, as you mentioned before, the reason is because college football is changing so much. It makes 0 sense to try to line this up right now when in all actuality things are probably going to change within the next 2 years. There may be a big change. Actually, whatever change comes through will most likely come through and change right right after it'll probably change right after probably 2030 will be the year that if they do a big change or restructure or whatnot, it'll probably happen then because we've got the 4 years and everybody else is doing the same thing. So I like that. So in 4 years, Ole Miss will be changed. Missouri probably won't because of the Big 8 ties. Texas, of course, won't be. they'll add a new rival, and I guess they'll see what others are. But all right, let's wrap up.